get them in. A few reinforcements could be on the way, with Rory Sloane, foot, and Matt Crouch, hamstring, facing fitness tests this week, and David Mackay, concussion, and Lachlan Murphy, hamstring, cleared to play. Under the pump, youngsters Jordan Gallucci and Myles Poholke could consider themselves unlucky to be squeezed out. Medical room, defender Kyle Hartigan, hamstring, is set to miss a few weeks. Goal sneak Eddie Betts is another week away. Verdict: if fit, Sloane, Crouch and Mackay for Hartigan, Gallucci and Poholke. Lee Gaskin get them in. After being dropped last week, Sam Mays bounced back in ideal fashion, racking up 31 disposals in the NEAFL. Brandon Starcevich is also getting closer to a debut. Under the pump, just 1 week back from the reserves, Brian Bastanak had a quietish game against the Suns, and would want a better showing next up. Medical room, Dane Zorko will be fine after injuring his elbow against the Suns, while Daniel Rich ankle is also a chance to play if he gets through Thursday's main session. Verdict: despite a fifth straight loss, it would be a slight surprise to see any changes, although if Rich is past fit, he'd likely come straight back in. Michael Whiting get them in. The Northern Blues had a bye last weekend, so have to go on previous week's form. Rookies Kim LeBois and Matt Shaw might be in contention for elevation. Under the pump, Cameron O'Shea made several errors last Saturday that cost goals. Jed Lamb was quiet on his return to the seniors, while Jack Silvagni had little impact. Medical room, ruckman Matthew Kreutzer, groin, midfielder Matthew Kennedy, ankle, and defenders Caleb Marchbank, ankle, and Jacob Waitering, corked thigh, will return if they pass fitness tests. Verdict: depends heavily on who is fit to return. There are likely to be 2 to 3 changes. Howard Cotton to come following the Anzac Day clash with Essendon, to come following the Anzac Day clash with Collingwood. Get them in, with the Eagles boasting a tall forward line and backup ruckman Matt Taberner, foot going down. Versatile veteran Michael Johnson seems likely to return. Under the pump, after a composed debut, Taylon Duman would be very stiff to be dropped, but Frio's need for more height could squeeze him out. Medical room, Doig medalist Bradley Hill is a week-by-week proposition, due to bruising in his knee, but would be a very handy inclusion. Verdict: Johnson looks likely to return for Duman given his ability to cover in the ruck and play on an Eagles marking forward. But perhaps Brennan Cox comes into consideration to play Taberner's role. Travis King Michael Johnson is likely to return for the Derby clash with West Coast. Picture, AFL photos get them in. Corey Gregson will be considered after moving well at training, and Tom Hawkins' back spasms should return. Drop traveling emergency Zach Guthrie is a chance, while Stuart Kramery and Charlie Constable continue to push their case, and Aaron Black impressed as a defender in the VFL. Under the pump, Jordan Cunico, 15 disposals, and Jordan Murdoch, 16 disposals, are yet to lock in their spots, while James Parsons' 2 goals from 9 disposals may have saved him. Medical room, concussed against Port Adelaide, Scott Selwood will need to do everything right to prove his fitness. Joel Selwood's place will be determined at the tribunal on Tuesday night. Verdict: Hawkins for Scott Selwood, pending back spasms. Gregson will have his eyes on Parsons' spot, while Charlie Constable might finally force his way in if Selwood's suspension is upheld. Zach Guthrie may be earmarked for one of Sydney's small forwards. Mitch Cleary get them in. He's only a rookie, but youngster Jacob Heron has been killing it at NEAFL level and is closing in on a call-up. Charlie Ballard also impressed at the lower level. Under the pump, after a quiet start against the Lions, Jesse Lonergan worked his way into the game and would like a more immediate impact this week against the Crows. Medical room, the Suns will have to find a replacement for energetic small forward Darcy McPherson. Broken leg Peter Wright calf is still another week away from returning in the NEAFL. Verdict: the Suns will need to make one change with McPherson's injury. Aaron Hall would be an easy elevation, but if Stu wants forward pressure, he might go for Heron. Michael Whiting get them in. The Giants have young defender Isaac Cumming in good form, so he could add some speed to the side, with Zach Langdon, and also in contention to return. Under the pump, forwards Harry Himmelberg and Daniel Lloyd have struggled for form over the past fortnight, while Dawson Simpson's mobility remains an issue and his spot depends on the fitness of Rory Lobb. Medical room, star midfielder Josh Kelly, groin, and ruckman Rory Lobb, knee, didn't train on Tuesday but remain a chance for the Brisbane clash if they can get through Wednesday's main session. Verdict: Langdon should return to add some forward pressure, while Kelly and Lobb will play if fit. Adam Curley get them in. Hawk fans are clamoring for the inclusion of the Warpedo midfielder James Worpel, who was held out of the VFL last week as the in-case emergency. Jonathan O'Rourke and Brendan Whitecross each had 34 touches for Box Hill. Under the pump, Ryan Burton is public enemy number 1 after beating the rap with a match review officer, but his form has been patchy in any event. James Sicily's suspension might save him for structural reasons. Medical room, Liam Shields back, missed stages of the game, but the Hawks say he will be fine. Sean Burgoyne will be back from a hamstring strain. Verdict, Alistair Clarkson will likely give the remainder of last week's team the chance to redeem themselves, if only because the second half against the Kangas was much better. Burgoyne for the suspended Sicily if I were picking the team. Ashley Brown to come following the Anzac Day Eve clash with Richmond, get them in. Luke Davies-Uniacke was rested last week and, depending on North's plans for him, should make an immediate return. Sam Wright was quieter in the VFL last week, but was in great form before that. Paul Ahern won lots of the ball again as he regains match fitness, while Nathan Ravatt is a contender to return if he is fit. Under the pump, North's defensive structure is working a treat, but Ed Vickers-Willis was exposed on occasion before suffering concussion in the third quarter against Hawthorn. J.Y. Simpkin has won only 32 disposals in the past 3 games, but is likely to be persevered with. Medical room, most interest is centered on whether Shaun Higgins and Vickers-Willis both concussion play. Taylor Garner, groin, played 3 quarters in the VFL in his season debut at the weekend and will be eased back, while Ravatt will push to play at either level this week. Verdict, much depends on Higgins and Vickers-Willis' health. There is a strong chance North will be unchanged for Saturday's clash with Port Adelaide if doctors give the pair the all-clear. Davies-Uniacke looms as the most likely inclusion. Mark McGowan, Nathan Ravatt may be back for North if he's fit. Picture, AFL photos get them in. Forward Aidan Johnson is a strong chance to replace Lindsay Thomas. Todd Marshall is on indefinite leave following the death of his father. Sam Powell-Pepper's availability is up in the air pending an AFL investigation. Tom Rockcliffe and Jasper Pittard will play in the SANFL on Anzac Day. Under the pump, apart from needing to replace Thomas, Carl Amon could be under some pressure from Dom Barry. Medical room, Rockcliffe will make his return from a calf injury in the SANFL. Verdict, Johnson to replace Thomas, Lee Gaskin to come following the Anzac Day Eve clash with Melbourne, get them in. Defender Jimmy Webster, hip flexor, and forward Rowan Marshall, concussion, aren't far away, while midfielders David Armitage 33 disposals, and Ed Phillips 32, impressed in the VFL. Under the pump, youngster Hunter Clark started quietly but improved in the final term in the draw against Greater Western Sydney. Medical room, wingman Jack Nunes will be monitored after being concussed last Saturday, but he looks to be tracking well. Verdict, Webster in for Clark, who would be a touch unlucky. Denny Navaratnam David Armitage was impressive in the VFL after being dropped. Picture, AFL photos get them in. Nick Newman and Robbie Fox are in consistent form and just need an opportunity, while Darcy Cameron could be an option to give the side some height, along with Ali Rallier. Under the pump, young forward Will Hayward hasn't kicked a goal since round 3 and hasn't given the Swans the pressure they need inside 50. Medical room, superstar forward Lance Franklin, bruised heel, and midfielder Dan Hanbury, groin, have already been ruled out of the Geelong clash, but Lewis Melican, hamstring, is a chance to return. Verdict, Newman gives the side a midfield back option and some good foot skills in either position, while Cameron and Allier will likely fight for Franklin's spot in the forward half. Adam Curley get them in. Jack Petrucell booted 4 goals for East Perth and has the leg speed. He ran the quickest 20-meter sprint at the NAB AFL Draft Combine, to play Daniel Venable's role across half-forward. Could last year's 39th pick debut in the Derby. Under the pump, team balance hasn't worked in Mark Hutchings' favour this season and he might be on the outer again if Adam Simpson brings in more pace. Medical room, the Eagles will want Lewis Jetta back to provide some dash and elite kicking from half-back after missing the Carlton win due to general soreness. Verdict, Jetta should be back, probably for Hutchings, but do the Eagles need more pace to combat Frio's runners at Optus Stadium? Travis King get them in. Midfielder Lachi Hunter is available after suspension, while defensive playmakers Hayden Crozier, knee, and Bailey Williams, ear, are likely to be fit. Versatile big man Jackson Trengo was solid in the VFL, resuming from a cracked shoulder blade. Under the pump, wingman Bailey Dale isn't having the same impact as last year and needs a spell in the VFL. Mitch Honeychurch and Lin Zhang need to improve their disposal, with the Dogs employing a ball retention game plan. Medical room, forward Tory Dixon will miss up to a month with a hamstring injury. Luke Dahlhaus is battling a sore knee and may need a rest. Verdict, with the Dogs needing an injection of class, Dale and Zhang could make way for Hunter and Crozier. Ryan Davidson